Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about how to behave after a photo shoot. That sounds a bit harsh, but I can't think of a better way to phrase it because I think that a lot of people actually don't know how to behave after a photo shoot, and this part is really important. Hey guys, my name's Joey Clarkson, and if we haven't met before, I'm an independent singer-songwriter, voiceover artist, and audiobook narrator living in London, UK with my husband and our two Pomskis. I make videos just like this every week, so if this is your thing, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on. Alright guys, as mentioned before, today we're going to be talking about how you should behave after a photo shoot. And what better person to discuss this with than an actual photographer? If you've been following this series, this is the final installment of a 4-part photography band series that I've collaborated on with Clarkson Photography. Clarkson Photography is run by my sister Katie Clarkson, who has been a photographer for more than half her life and has run her own business for the past 11 years. She knows lots of things and we're super lucky to have her here, so let's give a digital warm welcome round of applause to Katie Clarkson. Hey Katie, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you. Is anything interesting happening right now in your life?
Ooh, the storm is still happening.
The storm is still happening.
So I was in our studio last night and I looked out the window and it was dark, and then I started seeing like really heavy rain, and then it just got fluffy, and then all of a sudden all the cars were covered, and then I heard sirens, and then there were car crashes everywhere, and all of a sudden there was a giant flash of light and thunder started happening, and it was just weird. We live in a valley. This doesn't happen here.
That actually sounds so almost like end of world like. I bet that was really scary.
Yeah, it felt end of the world like, but really cool because we never get thunder.
All right, I'm sure we could talk about this all day because I miss you and we should talk all day, but after we finish filming this episode, let's get into this content because I think it's really important stuff that not enough people talk about, and I really think that not enough people know the proper etiquette. So we've got some great tips out there for everybody who's watching, and Katie, I think you should start this one.
I'd love to. Now, I know after a session, you're really excited to see your images, but editing takes time. A photographer's turnaround time should be discussed beforehand, or it'll be in your contract. Very rarely will your photographer provide you with the photographs the following day. Please don't contact your photographer right away asking for your images or seeing some sneak peeks. Give them some time, let them work their magic, and they'll send you your proofs when they're ready.
Yes, thank you, Katie. I know that as a musician myself, after I do a photo shoot, all I want to do is see those proofs and see the final edits. And it can be tough to remember that it's not gonna happen instantaneously. Actually, Katie shared one of her photography horror stories in the very first episode of this series, and I'll put a link up here on the screen so you can follow through to see that if you're interested in hearing her horror story regarding turnaround times. Speaking of those proofs, you're going to have a bunch sent through to you from your photographer, and you'll have to pick from them which ones you want edited for the final images that you actually get to take home. When you're choosing these pictures, you should make sure that you're picking lots of different kinds of shots. Even if you went in there with one vision for an album cover, make sure that you're also selecting images that differ so that you have a handful to choose from when you're using promo or press shots. You don't want to put 10 very similar images right next to each other on Instagram or your Facebook feed or your Twitter feed. You're going to want to have varied shots so that you can promo your release in a way that looks cohesive, but still draws the attention back to the album cover and makes the album cover look different. So, choose from your proofs wisely.
Definitely choose a variety of images. We stated this in the last video too, but utilize that time as much as you can. My next tip is to make sure you credit your photographer when you post your images. This might not be in your contract, but it is a great way to keep your relationship going. I absolutely love getting tagged in the images I've taken and being able to go back and see what that client is doing now. It's also another sneaky way of getting your promotion done too, because followers of that photographer will see that they're tagged in one of your photos. I'll usually share the post as well.
Pro tip regarding crediting your photographer. Something that I always do after a photo shoot now is that when I'm saving the files to my computer, I save them with my name, the project title, and then I put photographer and the actual photographer who took the picture. This way, when you send your images off to your PR team or directly to the blogs and media outlets that you're pitching to, they will have the information right there in the file itself, which is just another way for them to remember to also credit the photographer. All right, you're also going to need a release plan for your images. This is something you should put together before you release any of them. I'm talking sit down with a calendar and look at the days leading up to your release and figure out which days you can release which pictures on, because you will only have so many photographs to choose from and you don't want them to get old fast. Save them and maybe keep a few in your back pocket for after your release goes public so you have new content to share then too.
Yes, definitely keep those images for after your release as well. You want those images to stay fresh and you want people to continue looking at your album release.
Absolutely. So that wraps up today's video, but Katie, I did want to ask you another question, if it's okay. Is there anything else that we can do to help strengthen our relationship with you or another photographer?
One of my favorite things is when an artist sends me their album with my artwork on the front. It's so exciting to see your work in person and in print and hold it, and just makes me so proud of that artist.
That is really cool. That must feel amazing to hold that and know that you contributed to the project.
It really is. It's such a great feeling.
Okay, well that wraps up the photo series. I can't believe that we've now completed 4 of these episodes, and how are you feeling about it, Katie?
I'm feeling like we've covered a lot of things, and I'm really excited that people can now know what to expect and know what to think about before their session.
Katie, is there anything you want to leave our audience with before we close out the 4th video of this series?
Definitely. If there are 3 things you can get out of this, it's make sure you communicate with your photographer. Communication is key. Prepare as much as you can. Plan out the session beforehand. Make sure you have everything you want in that session. And don't forget to have fun.
Thank you so much, Katie. This has been way too much fun. If you're interested in checking out more of Katie's work, I'm going to link down to that in the description box below. She's got loads of projects to check out and a big back catalog of beautiful images to browse through. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of this video, and if you have any questions regarding photography, specifically for bands and musicians. On the way down to the comments, if you could hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on, that would be amazing. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you check out the other 3 videos in this series. I'll pop a link to those up on the screen so that they're easy for you to find. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. I'm looking forward to getting to know you better, and I'll see you in the next video. I was just gonna say, should we be really transparent and just tell everybody that we're batch filming 2 episodes and we just changed, so this is the same day as the last day?
Probably. Might as well.
Probably.